They arrived with polished smiles and crisp envelopes, but beneath the charm was a calculated siege. When a power-hungry HOA targeted Jim Randall's family farm, they didn't expect a fight. Jim, a retired ATF agent, wasn't just a farmer, was a man with a plan, and he was about to turn their land grab into a reckoning. The first letter came on a chilly October morning, tucked into the gate of Randall's Oak Hollow farm in rural Georgia. My son, Tommy, spotted it while hauling feed for the horses. The envelope was fancy, with a gold-embossed logo of a winding river and the words Crestview Estates Homeowners Association. It screamed trouble. Inside, the letter dripped with buzzwords: unity, standards, progress, but the message was clear: join our HOA or else. I'd spent 25 years dodging bullets and busting smugglers. No way was I handing my land to clipboard-wielding suburbanites obsessed with matching mailboxes. I crumpled the letter and tossed it into the burn pile. A week later, I met her. Diane Whitaker, Crestview's HOA president, stood at my gate in a blazer sharp enough to cut glass. She clutched a tablet like it was a shield. "Mr. Randall?" she asked, her voice sweet but laced with superiority. "I'm here to discuss integrating your property into our community vision." I wiped motor oil off my hands from fixing the tractor. "Lady, this is private land. Zoned agricultural. Your vision stops at my fence." Her smile didn't budge, but her eyes narrowed. "Community boundaries evolve, Mr. Randall. We'd hate for you to be left behind." I told her to leave. She did, but her words lingered like a bad smell. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. 2 weeks later, a certified letter from the county arrived, citing environmental concerns about my farm, alleged fertilizer runoff, unsafe barn structures, even noise from my combine. It was nonsense. I called my lawyer, Hank, who chuckled grimly. "Jim, this is a shakedown. Someone's trying to bury you in red tape." I sent a formal reply, citing zoning laws and demanding proof of the complaints. But deep down, I knew Diane wasn't done. Then the harassment started. I caught 2 guys creeping along my backfield with a camera and a drone. They claimed to be compliance inspectors, but had no permits, just smug grins and matching vests. I ran them off with a warning. That night, I found fresh footprints near the pig pen sneaker tracks, not work boots. A week later, the county sent another notice, this time recommending I halt farming until an investigation was complete. That's when I stopped playing nice. Diane's HOA doubled down. Hank got a call about a formal complaint filed by Crestview and some shady outfit called Green Path Solutions, a company with no website and a P.O. box address. They accused my farm of ecological harm and, get this, visual blight that lowered their property values. My cows weren't Instagram-worthy. Hank said it was a coordinated hit, a paper trail to force me out. I started my own. I rigged trail cams at every entrance, posted "no trespassing" signs, and locked the feed yard tight. The complaints kept coming. Noise violations for equipment I didn't run at night. Odor reports from a neighbor whose house was a half-mile upwind. One lady swore my hogs triggered her migraines. Then I found a dead rooster wedged in my mailbox. A few days later, my combine's fuel line was sliced clean, not chewed, cut. I didn't call the sheriff. 2 deputies lived in Crestview and golfed with Diane's husband. Instead, I called my old ATF buddy, Carl, a tech wizard with a knack for bending FAA drone rules. We set up surveillance cameras, motion sensors, the works. Within days, we had footage: a black SUV idling near my irrigation ditch at 2 a.m. 2 figures snapped photos of my silo, then peeled out toward Crestview. Carl traced the plates to a subcontractor tied to Green Path. Worse, Tommy came home from school shaken. Kids called him Pig Boy and stuffed a note in his locker: "Your dad's farm is a dump. Shut it down." I gave him a journal to log every incident: dates, names, details. This wasn't just a dispute anymore. It was war. The HOA's tactics grew bolder. Their newsletter ran hit pieces, warning of unregulated farming and quoting out-of-context county codes. Diane vanished from my gate, but her influence was everywhere. Then Tommy's bike tires were slashed at school, a note on the seat reading, "Grow quiet, farmer." I filed that with the state police, bypassing the locals. Enough was enough. I called an old ATF contact, Ellen, now with the Department of Agriculture, and laid out the situation. She paused. "Jim, when was your land last surveyed?" I hadn't checked since inheriting the farm. She mentioned rumors of rezoning schemes in our county parcels quietly redrawn. I drove to the county archives and pulled the plats. What I found made my blood boil. A proposal from 6 months back aimed to expand Crestview's boundaries to include my farm, labeled Parcel 7A, like I didn't exist. Worse, their new cul-de-sac 6 houses sat 40 yards over my property line. The survey was either botched or rigged. Then I spotted the real crime. Crestview's power grid ran underground through my barley field. No easement, no permit, nothing. They were stealing my land and juicing their McMansions with it. I kept quiet, documenting every inch. The surveyors I hired outsiders from Macon confirmed it. Nearly 2 acres of my land were under Crestview's homes, plus an unpermitted water main dumping runoff into my pasture. I had them scan the power lines with ground-penetrating radar. It was airtight. I didn't confront Diane. I built a case. Hank drafted letters to the HOA, the utility company, and the county, listing violations with GPS coordinates and photos. No response. So I sent ultimatums. Remove the homes, disconnect the utilities, or face court. Diane's lawyer fired back, claiming a historical boundary error and a forged agreement saying my dad joined Crestview years ago. The document was laughable wrong font, fake notary, my dad's name misspelled Randall. Hank called it legal fan fiction. I brought in Laura, a federal land investigator Ellen vouched for. She tore through the HOA's papers like a hawk. This annexation contract's a fraud, she said, pointing to the sloppy signature. And their grants for community infrastructure list your land as theirs. That's federal fraud. We filed a counterclaim. Forgery, trespass, utility theft, and attempted land seizure. Laura flagged the power lines as a violation of federal energy grants, tying Crestview to misappropriated funds. The HOA scrambled. Workers patched fences and rerouted pipes, hoping to hide their tracks. We caught it all on drone footage. One crew even tried digging a new power trench at night, no permits. We filed for emergency relief. The judge, fed up with Crestview's stalling, issued an order: no construction, no utilities, no trespassing. Diane countered with a new map from some sketchy firm, claiming my land was always theirs. Laura dug up proof that the map's county clerk died a decade ago. The judge snapped. I'm not here for fairy tales. The feds moved in quietly, 2 agents and an auditor. They traced the power lines, grants, and money. Crestview had pocketed $1.2 million in green energy funds, claiming my land as their easement. The county engineer who signed off? Diane's cousin. His contractor pal filed the first environmental complaint. It was a racket. We caught HOA workers pumping stormwater onto my fields, despite their denials. Subpoenas hit Diane's house, the HOA office, and the contractor's shop. Tommy, meanwhile, made a video. Drone shots, cam footage, even clips of Diane dodging questions at town halls. He posted it online. How an HOA tried to steal our farm. It exploded 800,000 views in days. Comments raged, from farmers to city folks burned by HOAs. Then someone spray-painted "land thief" on my barn. I added floodlights and kept going. At a county hearing, Laura dropped the hammer. Fraud, forgery, collusion. The room froze. Diane's allies, the HOA board, the engineer, contractor, looked like they'd seen a ghost. Residents glared at them, not me. The indictments hit soon after. 14 charges against Diane, from fraud to conspiracy. Her contractor got 11 years, the engineer, 9. Diane's mugshot, no blazer, just jail scrubs, made national news. HOA tyrant busted, screamed the headlines. The HOA imploded. A court order cut power to the 6 encroaching homes. I hired a crew, and under a gray sky, we dug up their power line. I snipped it myself. The lights flickered off. I left a note. Talk to your HOA. 2 families moved out. We filed to seize the homes as illegal builds. The court approved. At auction, Tommy bid on one, turning it into a dog rescue. He didn't tell me until it was done. Figured we'd make something good out of their mess, he said. Diane got 13 years, no parole. Crestview dissolved amid lawsuits. Residents sued the board sued the contractor. Nobody won. New state laws mandated digital land audits, sparked by our case. I used settlement cash to build cabins for farmstay tourists. We called it Freedom Field. No gates, no rules. I repainted the entrance sign, Private farm. HOA free since 25. The barn's red graffiti faded but stayed, a badge of survival. Sitting with Tommy one night, I felt it. We didn't just win. We built something better. The land was ours, and so was the story. What do you think? Have you faced bullies like Diane, or fought an injustice that hit close to home? Share your thoughts in the comments, especially on how far you'd go to protect what's yours. Let's hear your stand.